Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's continue our game of Ethereal Enigma on on PC. Not Nintendo Switch yet.
Oh, good, you're home.
Uncle Hajime, did you close early tonight? He nods.
You sold out earlier than anticipated, so closed up shop. Your aunt is upstairs enjoying her night off.
It's good to hear business is doing well. It's more fun at the bakery when it's busy.
I hope you remember that during your shift tomorrow.
Mina freezes. I can tell she forgot we had to work, but she smoothly recovers with a smile.
Of course I will.
That's my girl.
Uncle Hajime laughs, affectionately ruffling Mina's hair. I look around. Where's Erilyn?
Oh, she's upstairs in her room. She's been holed up in there since dinner. I wonder if she's feeling well.
It's just jet lag, Dad.
Ah, of course. Have you two had dinner yet? I've saved some leftovers just in case.
My stomach rumbles in response, and the two of us sit down to eat. After dinner, I help with the cleanup before going to my room. Cracking open my books, I get started on my homework. I stifle a yawn as I finish the last question, then get ready for bed. As I gratefully slip into my bed, I fall into a quick and easy sleep. I wake up feeling alert and refreshed. I got to sleep in a little more than usual, and it has made all the difference. After getting ready and finishing breakfast, Mina and I head to the bakery. It's a beautiful day, so the walk to work is fast and smooth. I hope my shift ends on time. I haven't forgotten that I'm meeting Kira at the shrine afterwards. Once we arrive, Mina and I throw on our aprons. Sunlight filters in through the bakery's windows, highlighting the display cases filled with sweet treats. The fresh scent of bread and sugar mingles in the air, giving the place a warm and homey feeling. Aunt Emiko finishes up a transaction with a customer before ushering us over.
I'm so glad you're both here.
She pulls Mina to the cash register.
Sweetie, can you please take over the register?
Mina nods and helps the next person in line. Aunt Emiko hands me a tray.
Here is the latest batch of bread. Can you put them out on display for me, honey?
Of course, Aunt Emiko.
Thank you, dear. If you need me, I'll be in the back with your uncle working on a catering order.
As she disappears into the kitchen, I set to work. The store is bustling with hungry customers all morning. The bread flies off the shelves faster than I can restock them. Eventually, the rush dies down. As the last customer leaves, Mina lets out a deep breath and sits at one of the tables.
Phew, it's finally slowing down.
Yeah, that last rush was crazy. She slumps against the table, looking exhausted.
I just want one moment to myself.
The bell dings above the door. I look over and see a young man enter the shop. He looks slightly older than us. Maybe he's a high school senior. Mina's eyes widen. Her back straightens upright. I stifle a laugh. I thought you said you wanted a moment to rest and do nothing. Her cheeks flush.
Shush!
The boy stuffs his hands into his pockets as he checks out the display case. Mina lets out a soft, almost dreary sigh. Encourage her. Do your best. I gently nudge her with my elbow. She jerks, snapping out of her trance.
Huh? What?
He's just standing there. Go on, take his order.
That's what I was gonna do.
She hurries off to the cash register. The boy glances at her and her cheeks redden.
Hi there. Can I help you?
He flashes her an easy smile, which makes Mina flush even brighter.
I've never been to this place before. Can you tell me about your hot cross bun options?
Oh, of course.
She clears her throat.
As you can see, you have some hot buns.
The boy blinks.
What?
She sputters.
Wait, I mean, your buns are fresh. No, Not your buns, my buns! Wait, no, mine, like mine from the store!
The servant settles over his face.
On second thought, maybe something else. Do you have any bread rolls?
Mina
nods.
Yes, roleplay is very important here at the bakery.
Role play?
Yes.
Her eyes widen.
Just rolls? I mean bread rolls!
A breathless, strange laugh pops out of him. He looks around for something else to order.
Maybe I'll just go with a slice of pie.
Of course. Do you want a cream pie?
Mina quickly catches herself and her face turns bright red.
I mean, a cream pie! Like, do you want a slice of a pie that happens to contain cream filling? 'Cause it's called a cream pie.
He blinks, then nods.
That sounds just fine.
She looks relieved.
No problem. Just 1 second, please.
Mina prepares his order and then disappears into the back. That's strange. The pastries are ready to go, so I'm not sure why she's back there. She returns a moment later to ring him up. After he pays, she hands him the bag.
Thanks.
He tries to take it from her, but Mina doesn't let go. She seems lost in a trance, staring into his eyes. He gives the bag a little tug. She snaps out of it.
Oh, sorry. Enjoy your dessert.
He gives her another odd look, then sits at one of the tables. When he's out of earshot, Mina lets out a low groan. She deflates against the counter. When'd you get so good at puns? For someone who thinks puns are lame anyway, your pun game is sure is strong.
I didn't do it on purpose.
That makes it even more impressive. Suddenly, she's smirking. Wait, I'm confused. Didn't that just go really badly? Why do you look so smug? Mina grins and puts her hands on her hips.
Because, dear cousin, I am smoother than you think.
I arch an eyebrow. Did we just not witness the same thing? She lifts up her chin and pins me with a confident stare.
Nope. Because when I was in the back, I wrote my number on the pie and frosting.
She looks over to see that he's already eaten half the pie. Crumbs sprinkle onto the plate as he takes another big bite. Most of her number has already disappeared. Mina's face pinches in horror.
No!
She reaches out as if she can stop it, but it's too late. The deed has been done.
My number!
Her body slumps over with shame.
Why?
I laugh and pat her on the back. It's alright, Mina. Better luck next time. She groans. When the boy is done eating, he waves at us.
Thanks for the pie. It was delicious.
Mina waves back, wearing a strained smile. The ding of the door announces his exit. Once he's out of sight, she hides her face in her hands, crestfallen and defeated. I pat her on the back. There, there. On the plus side, work is almost over. She perks up.
That's true. And my friend and I have plans tonight.
See? It's not all bad.
Yeah, you're right. Who knows? Maybe we'll run into another cute guy.
Just don't offer him any more cream pies. Mina playfully shoves me, but the smile has returned to her face. Aunt Emiko pops into the store.
Hey guys, can one of you help us out back here with the dishes?
Of course. I turn to Mina and flash her a grin. Mina would love to do the dishes. Her eyes sparkle as her mouth lifts into a smirk.
Oh no, cuz. You can do it since I know how much you love doing dishes.
What are you talking about? When did I say that? She hums and taps her chin.
I seem to remember you appreciating the artistry of cups and the durability of bowls.
Wait a minute. That's not the same thing. I was being a supportive friend. She flashes me a grin.
As a matter of fact, since you appreciate them so much, you can do all of them.
What? Aunt Emiko beams.
Perfect. We appreciate the help.
Damn, is this what I get for hyping up a friend in need? I shake my head. Well, there's no use complaining about it. I'll be there in a second, Aunt Emiko. She nods and faces me in a smug grin.
Don't think you're off the hook, Missy. We need help with that big catering order, so in you come too.
Aw, okay.
The two of them disappear back into the kitchen. pull up my phone and text Kira, letting her know that I have to work late. My phone dings with a reply text. Kira agrees to push back our meeting time. Once I'm in the kitchen, I roll up my sleeves and get to work. There's a lot to do, but having my aunt and uncle to talk to makes it go by faster. The rest of the workday goes by smoothly. When we're finally done, Mina and I hurry home. I'm running late by the time we arrive at the house. The first thing I do is clean the shower. There are worse things to smell like than a freshly baked bread, but I don't need to make people hungry whenever I walk past. After getting dressed, I'm ready to meet Kira at the shrine. As I pass by Erlen's room, I wonder if I should let her know I'm leaving. Her door is currently closed, but the information we hope to find directly affects her. Should I disturb her? Let's knock. Remembering how rudely she woke me up yesterday, I decided to just knock. Gathering my fist, I rap twice on the door. There's no response. Is she asleep? I knock once more. Still no response. It's probably better that she doesn't join us anyway. Grabbing my things, I head out of the house and make my way to the shrine. The walkover feels longer than usual. My breath comes in gasps as I pick up the pace. Finally, I see the familiar gates. Kira stands in front of them and greets me as I approach.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry I'm late. I hope you haven't been waiting long. She shakes her head. This is the first time I've seen her out of her school uniform. I must be staring a bit too long because she breaks the silence.
Is something wrong?
Yeah, you look great. I snap out of my stare, feeling my cheeks burn as I look away. Kira is already beautiful to begin with, but this outfit makes her look so elegant and feminine. The school uniforms really don't do her justice. Sorry, I didn't mean to stare. It's just that you look really great today. My eyes widen as I realize how that sounds. Not that you don't look great every day. You do. It's not like I've been staring. Is it just me, or is it getting warm in here? I feel the heat rising in my face. To my surprise, Kira bows her head in a graceful nod.
Thank you.
Should we head in? Kira nods. We go through the gates and enter the shrine grounds. There are a good number of people wandering about. Families crowd in the main hall, wishing for blessings of health and good fortune. Many couples gaze lovingly at each other as they wish for happiness, and even more single people look wistfully around the shrine, holding amulets for love. I wonder where we should start. Do you remember where you saw that thing in the sky? Kira looks up, shielding her eyes from the sun.
It was right above where Erlen landed on you. About there.
She points to a spot in the air. I glance up at the sky. It's clear today, without a cloud in sight. I don't see anything abnormal.
Neither do I. It's not like it was the other night.
Our best bet is still to find the old woman, then. I give Kira a description of what I remember. Scanning the crowd, I look for the familiar face of that mysterious old lady. The crowd of people is too thick for me to spot her. Kira takes a cursory glance around her, too. We'll never find her this way. Maybe we should ask around and see if anyone's seen her. She nods.
If we split up, we'll cover more ground.
Yeah. We agree to meet back here, and Kira disappears into the crowd. I look around again, wondering who I should approach. Find someone that works there. My best chance of finding this old woman is to ask someone who also spends a lot of time at the shrine. There were a few groundskeepers sweeping the steps the night that I met her. There are a few more working here today. Recognizing their uniform, I approach the nearest groundskeeper. I can't tell if he's the same one from that night or not. Excuse me, do you happen to know if there's an old woman who frequents the shrine? The man looks at me, rubbing his chin.
You're going to have to be more specific than that. The elderly are always visiting the shrine.
She has short gray hair. Trying to remember what she looks like, but there isn't anything specifically identifying about her. Should I talk about something called Ethereal Energy and encourages people to make wishes at the shrine? The groundskeeper frowns.
Ethereal Energy. Listen, young man, I haven't got time for pranks. If you don't actually need anything, then please excuse me.
He thinks I'm making things up. Not that I can blame him. Sorry for bothering you. Thank you anyway. I'll leave him be. All old people know each other, right? It takes one to know one. Besides, if I were an old lady, who would my friends be? Probably other old ladies. I approach a woman who waits patiently outside of the offering hall. Excuse me. She jumps up in my voice.
Oh, young man, are you lost?
Her eyes are full of concern. No, I'm actually looking for someone and wondered if you'd seen her. She's an old woman about your height with great hair.
Is that your grandmother? Have you been separated from your family?
I tried to think of more details. No, she's someone who's very enthusiastic about something called ethereal energy.
What? Esther's family? Hold on.
She calls out to another elderly woman standing around the amulet booth.
Esther! This young man says you're his grandmother.
No, actually.
What, dear?
The woman cups her hands around her mouth and shouts again.
This young man says you're his grandmother!
What?
While they're distracted, I quietly slip away. That didn't go the way I expected. I see a guy about my age with a big smile on his face. He's clutching an amulet and mouthing "thank you" to the sky. Looks like the face of someone whose wish was granted. I approach him. Excuse me. He turns to me.
What they say about the shrine is real. If you make an offering, your prayer may just be answered.
My heart does a little flip. That sounds familiar. Where did you hear that?
Oh, from someone here. And they were right. I prayed for love, and I just got a text from the cute girl I work with. It can't be a coincidence.
He heard from someone at the shrine? That's great, but back to who told you. Was it an old woman with gray hair?
No, I don't think so. On second thoughts, I might have read it off a plaque. But that's not important. I have a date to plan.
He rushes off before I can ask more. Well, that went nowhere. It's clear that nobody knows who I'm talking about. Disheartened, I returned to the meetup point. It hadn't struck me just how fruitless this endeavor was until I started asking around. Realistically, with no name or anything to go off of, what were the chances that we'd find this woman anyway? I don't have to wait long before Akira returns. A sliver of hope stirs in my chest. Many leads? She shakes her head, squashing that tiny ray of hope.
You?
I shake my head too and let out a sigh as I sit on the stone bench. Asking the locals was a long shot anyway. Kira sits beside me and wordlessly hands me a bottle of water. Oh, thanks. Where'd you get this?
Over there.
She points to the other side of the hall where a small refreshment stand offers drinks, then holds up a second bottle for herself. I'll offer it back. Yeah. How much was it? I can pay you back. She shakes her head.
Don't worry about it.
She sounds firm in her decision. I don't think she'll accept any money. Alright, but I'll get it next time. She smiles faintly and nods. I take a sip. I guess now's as good a time as any to take a break. She nods, drinking a sip of water. As I take another drink, I glance at Kira out of the corner of my eye. Her attentiveness just now surprises me. I didn't think she'd notice the little things. I still don't have a very good read on her. She likes to keep to herself and remains disconnected at school, so her interest in Erlen's situation is unusual. My thoughts return to the rumors. Is she really an Igarashi? Would it be rude of me to ask? As if sensing my thoughts, Kira turns towards me, meeting my eyes. I may as well ask. I've been wondering something.
About the old woman?
No, about you, actually. She remains emotionless, turning back to her water.
What about me?
Are you related to the famous Igarashi conglomerate?
Yes.
The change is very subtle, but I notice it. There's a dullness in her eyes and a sharpness in her tone. I wouldn't have expected a family such as yours to live here in Matsukaze. I thought you'd all live in the city.
They do.
I blink. So, you live here by yourself? She nods, keeping her expression carefully blank. Sounds lonely. Seems like you'd be lonely, especially as someone new in town.
It's something you get used to.
Used to? So you've lived alone before?
I attended boarding school in junior high and lived in the dorms.
I see. At least the dorms had friends who could keep you company. She hesitates.
Right.
I glance at her. The way she said that didn't sound very convincing. But now you're living entirely on your own.
Like I said, I've gotten used to it.
That doesn't make it any less lonely. Kira fidgets with her water bottle. Oh, well, if it ever gets too lonely, you're welcome to come by. She blinks. My face flushes. I met my family's bakery. Mina and I both work there, so if you ever want to hang out, we're there all the time. She thinks for a second and hides her face before answering.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
She glances my way again.
Do you live with your parents?
I nod. But they travel for work for most of the year and are rarely home. Kiddo looks in front of her.
Rarely home.
Yeah, but they always check in with me, so I hear from them often. And I still have my aunt, uncle, and my cousin Mina in the house too, so I don't feel lonely. She blinks.
So you're always surrounded by family?
Yep, sometimes it can get a little annoying when I want my own space, but that's a small sacrifice to make. I can't even imagine how I would have gotten up for school back in the day if Mina wasn't around to wake me. She goes quiet.
That sounds very nice.
Her voice has a strange, hollow tone to it. She fiddles with the water bottle in her hands. What about your family? What are they like? Kira remains silent, and I wonder if I've offended her. As she is about to answer, a little boy who looks no more than 5 years old races towards us. His cheeks are rosy pink. As he skids to a stop, he sticks a palm out in front of us.
Give me money.
That's rude. For a moment, I'm too surprised to speak. Who is this kid demanding money off of strangers? Didn't your mother ever teach you to say please? His eyes widen.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
He flashes a bright, excited grin, exposing a gap in his front teeth.
Give me money, please.
That's a little better, but just barely. Kiddo holds out a coin.
Here.
The little boy's face lights up. You notice Kiddo's expression soften as he snatches the coin out of her hand.
Thank you, lady. Now I can make a wish.
Yeah, you do you. I understand why he wants money now. He seems like he's in a rush. I won't hold him up for making his wish. He races off just as quickly as he arrived. I watch him pause by the offering box. He drops in the coin before clasping his hands together. I glance at Kira. She watches the child squeeze his eyes shut as he makes a wish. I'm surprised he gave him the coin.
It was a small gesture that made him really happy.
I can't help but smile. Kira does have a softer side to her, even if it's not readily apparent.
Koji!
A breathless woman runs after the boy. When he sees him by the offering box, she pauses, catching her breath, spotting as she hurries over.
I'm so very sorry for Koji. Please excuse him for disturbing you.
He was no trouble at all.
You're too kind, but I know he was rude. And I apologize again for that. He's still young and too excitable.
She calls out to her son.
Koji, come here. Let me give you a coin first, and then you can make a wish.
It's okay, Mama. The lady already gave me one.
The mother turns back to Kira with wide eyes. Then she bows.
Thank you so much for helping him. Please, let me repay you.
She tries to slip a coin into Kira's hands, but Kira shakes her head, refusing to accept it.
It was my pleasure to help.
Please, this is the least I can do.
The woman urges Kira to accept the coin, but she remains firm.
When I was his age, a kind stranger gave me a coin to make my first wish too. I'm grateful that I could pay it forward, and I'm sure your son will too one day.
The mother nods, her face softening into a smile as she puts the coin away.
You have a good heart. Thank you again. Please, let me know if there's any other way I could repay you.
She looks back at her son, smiling. Affection makes her eyes twinkle.
Koji loves coming to the shrine. I don't quite understand it myself, but I'll keep bringing him here if it makes him happy.
Does that mean you visit often? She nods.
More often than most.
I share a glance with Kira. If this lady visits the shrine often, maybe she'll know other people who hang around here too. You know of an old woman who also likes to visit this shrine? She has a short gray hair and likes to encourage people to make wishes. She pauses, thinking.
Oh, maybe you're thinking of Miss Tanaka.
Kira and I share a glance. Mrs. Tanaka?
Yes, I've seen her at the shrine pretty often. She reminds Koji to make a wish whenever she sees him. She always says it's the perfect opportunity for it.
My pulse quickens. Could this be the woman we've been searching for? Do you know if she was at the? Do you know when she was at the shrine last? Do you know if she was at the shrine last Thursday?
She may have been. I think she's normally here on Mondays and Thursdays, but I'm not too certain of her schedule.
She was here last Thursday. It must be her. That could be her. Thank you so much. She smiles.
I'm happy to help.
Mama, I'm done.
But your kid's like 20 years old. Not a little kid's voice. Koji waves at his mother.
Koji, don't move.
Mom, sign this lease to my new car. The woman thanks us again before hurrying after her son. I faintly hear her scolding him as she scoops him into his arms. Hope makes my body feel light. Excitement bubbles within me as I turn to Kira. Miss Tanaka sounds like our best lead. She nods.
It sounds like she won't be back until Monday, though.
Yeah, would you want to come back here with me on Monday?
Sure.
Great, we can head here after school. Kira nods again.
Now that we have a lead, I'm going to head out. It's getting late and there are a few things I need to do.
Squinting, I glance at the setting sun. Orange and yellow blazes in the sky. I hadn't realized it'd gotten so late. Thanks again for coming with me today.
I'm glad we were able to make some progress.
Me too. We make our way out of the shrine together. When we reach the gate, we say our goodbyes and go our separate ways. My mind is racing with thoughts of Mrs. Tanaka as I walk all the way home. When I arrive home, I see Erlyn waiting for me in the living room. As soon as she spots me, she jumps to her feet and rushes to my side.
Finally, you're home!
I'm taken aback by her sudden appearance. What's wrong? Are you okay?
No, I'm not!
Well, why? What's wrong?
I've been suffering for hours!
Suffering? This sounds serious. What happened?
What happened is that I have been starving!
I blink. What?
There's no food.
What do you mean there's no food?
I mean, I checked the kitchen and there was no food.
That can't be possible. Aunt Emiko keeps the kitchen stocked. Did they bring everything to the bakery? Let's go take a look. I head into the kitchen. Erlyn falls at my heels. The first thing I notice is the bread on the counter. Opening the fridge, I spot the usual staples of meat and vegetables. There's plenty of food here. Erlyn points to the kitchen table.
No, it's empty.
I point to everything in the kitchen. Then what's all this?
They're ingredients to make food, not food.
Then put those ingredients to use. She looks as if I suggested she eat her arm. There's bread, ham, and cheese. You could easily have made yourself a sandwich. Erlyn stares blankly.
Make a sandwich?
Yes. She continues to stare at me. Considering her reaction to the sandwich we ate the other morning, I have a strong feeling I know the answer to the question I'm about to ask. Have you ever made a sandwich before?
Of course not.
Oh, it's easy. All you do is grab the bread, make sure you add any condiments to it, grab your filling, then layer them on top.
Hold on.
What?
I'm hearing a whole lot of words coming from you, but don't understand how any of that will cure me of my famine.
I sigh, biting back my frustration. If you would listen, then you'd know. She sighs and puts a hand on her hip. Finally. Like I was saying, all you need to do is put the condiments and filling between the two slices of bread. That's it. Erlyn blinks slowly, her expression remaining flat. I'll just make her a sandwich this time. It's clear that she's not understanding. I suppose if someone's never had to cook before, then what seems obvious and simple may not be. Why don't I make one for you? She breaks into a grin and clapping her hands together.
Excellent idea.
Setting herself into one of the dining chairs, she patiently waits for me. I remove 2 slices of bread, then grab some ham, lettuce, cheese, and mayonnaise from the fridge. Spicy sandwich, store it all together. Sandwich making is an art. If Erlyn wants a sandwich, then she'll get a sandwich that is fit for not just a princess, but a queen. I gingerly place the first slice of bread on the plate, lining up my line of sight with the table. It needs to be perfectly centered. Oh, I wouldn't go that far, but okay. Carefully, I layer the ingredients, measuring them to be exact. My movements are exaggerated as I add on each item with a gentle flourish. Erlyn watches me with silent interest. This sandwich is more than just food. It's feeling, too. Feeling with filling. Sweet breads. Sweet sweat beads my brow as I painstakingly lower the last slice of bread and put it in front of Erlyn. Behold the ham sandwich. Without so much as a glance, Erlyn hungrily grabs a sandwich and takes a huge bite. I look on in shock. My masterpiece! She didn't even look at it! Erlyn blinks in surprise.
This isn't too bad.
Isn't too bad? How dare she? It's a masterpiece! She shrugs.
It's edible.
Her words are like a knife to my gut. Evelyn continues to chow down on the sandwich. I guess she really is hungry. I sit down beside her as she eats. Normally she tries to take smaller, more ladylike bites, but she seems to have abandoned that for larger mouthfuls. Watching her relax, she almost looks like a different person. Her eyes have lost their harshness and sparkle with enjoyment. There's even a fleck of mayo on her cheek. I smile. Suddenly she looks up at me.
What is it?
Oh, there's something on your cheek. In response, she leans forward and tilts her face towards me. I freeze. Her face is inches away from my own. My pulse quickens. Oh, excuse me. What are you doing?
Aren't you going to wipe it off?
Oh. Disappointment drops in my stomach. I don't know what I was expecting. With a napkin in hand, I wipe it off her. Her face dusts pink at my touch.
Is it gone?
Yeah. Once we're finished eating, Erin stretches into a wide yawn.
Oh my. Well, I'm going to go and rest. I've had such a long day.
A long day of what?
I'm nearly starving to death. Trying to just survive takes so much energy.
Erin hides another yawn.
I will retire to my room.
Okay, good night then.
Good night.
I begin to clear the plates as she exits the kitchen. When she reaches the doorway, she pauses, briefly looking back. Curious, I look over to her.
Thank you.
Without waiting for a reply, she turns back and hurries out of the room. I smile as I continue to clean up. After the kitchen is clean, I go upstairs to my room. Mina is still out with her friends, and Aunt Emiko and Uncle Hajime are closing up the bakery. Taking advantage of the quiet, I get started on my homework. I work until I lose focus, and then I browse the internet for a bit. When my eyes struggle to stay open, I get ready for bed. Before long, I'm fast asleep. The sun shines through my window, burning away the fog of sleep. Blinking open my eyes, I glance outside. For once, I have no obligations. The thought energizes me, and I get ready for the day. Both Mina and Erin's doors are closed. That's fine with me. I could use a quiet morning. After freshening up, I head downstairs to grab a bite to eat. There's a loaf of custard bread on the table with a piece already torn off. That must mean Mina's awake. She loves the stuff. I catch the savory smell of meat and see the steamer. Uncle Hajime must have prepared meat buns for us too. After eating, I clean up and relax in the living room when the ring of the doorbell surprises me. I'm not expecting anybody today. I wonder who it is. When I open the door, I'm greeted by Kosei's smiling face.
My man! Aren't you glad it's the weekend? I have the day off, so I thought I'd swing by.
Hey, come on in. He barely waits for me to step aside before he lets himself in, kicking his shoes off in the process.
Feel like doing anything in particular today? Where should we go?
I can't help but notice Kosei's choice of outfit. While his clothes are clean, they show a few signs of wear and tear. Most importantly, they're a few decades out of fashion. None of that is surprising. Kosei has his vintage style for as long as I've known him. That doesn't mean I've stopped noticing it, though. To party likes 1999. Kosei would stick out like a sore thumb if we went anywhere other than the past. Oh, the 90s called. They want the clothes back. He scoffs.
Some people just don't appreciate good fashion.
Or the lack thereof.
This is classic vintage. It's the epitome of fashion these days.
Are you sure you aren't just wearing old hand-me-downs?
Of course not. I bought this with my own money. There's no better way to stand out than to deviate from the norm.
He's got the standing out part right. But to answer your question, I don't have anyone in mind. What about you? Kosei shakes his head.
Not particularly. We can stay in instead. I'm all about relaxation.
That works for me. We could play something on the console.
Yeah, man. It's been a while since I got to demolish you in Crash Bros.
We head up to my room and search through my games. Kosei excitedly checks out the newest releases my parents brought back from their latest business trip to the US. I'll usually get a game before he does, so we'll try it out together. After booting everything up, we select teams and start to play.
So, are you looking forward to the club fair next week?
Yeah, are you?
Definitely! I know which club I want to join now, too.
Soccer? He gives me a knowing look.
What about you? Which club will you join?
See, science, debate, acting, swimming, also soccer, academic club. I will be a swimmer. I'm considering joining the swim club. Kosei raises his brows.
You swim?
Kind of.
Then why do you want to join the swim club?
Practices right after the girls' swim club. Sometimes they even overlap. Kosei grins.
I bet they look cute in their swimsuits.
I remember the girls from Mina's swim meets. Oh, they do. We continue to chat as we play. As is generally the trend with Kosei, the more into the games he gets, the quieter he becomes. Soon we're both getting into the competitive spirit as we play against each other. Suddenly, a knock at the door interrupts us. Who is it? Kosei mutters under his breath.
Must be Mina coming to kill the vibe.
In response, the door bursts open. Erlen stands in the frame. You can't just barge in here.
I didn't. I knocked.
You're supposed to answer my question and wait for me to invite you in.
How tedious. I announced my presence by knocking. You find out who I was after opening the door.
Kosei stares wide-eyed in wonder. He scrambles to his feet.
That's Erilyn!
Yes?
She's here!
Yes?
In your house!
Still yes?
Dressed like a hot fantasy princess!
She likes to cosplay.
Why do you sound like this is a totally normal situation? Wait, am I still asleep? That must be it.
Kosei pinches himself and winces. As reality dawns, he turns to me for an explanation. Oh, right, I guess we never mentioned Erilyn's living situation to him. Oh, so funny story, she actually lives here.
She what?
Kosei's eyes bug out and his words are a choked squeak. Erilyn waves her hand in front of her face as if waving away an annoying fly.
I require your assistance at once.
I glance over to Kosei and back to Erilyn. In case you haven't noticed, I'm a little preoccupied. She crosses her arms.
With what?
I think you mean with whom? I point to Kosei, who remains frozen in shock and confusion. She glances at Kosei, then back at me.
Well, Mina told me that the homework I was assigned needs to be completed.
Okay.
But she won't do it for me.
Well, that sounds about right.
So I'm going to need you to complete it for me instead.
Seeming out of nowhere, she pulls out a stack of workbooks and drops it next to me. With a smug smile, she turns away.
I'll come collect it in the evening.
Well, what's even going on? Oh, wait a minute. She pauses, fixing me with a bored look. I'll offer to help her. I mean, I did pull her into this world. I'm kind of responsible for the whole thing. Insisting I do her homework isn't the right tactic, but clearly she needs help, and I shouldn't ignore that. I won't do your homework for you, but if you need help, then I can help you. Erilyn sighs and settles at my desk, resigned to her fate.
Very well. If that's how it must be, then let's get started.
I meant later. I'm still hanging out with Kosei right now. Erilyn furrows her brows.
What's a kosei?
At the mention of his name, Kosei awakens from his stupor. He jumps up.
Me, Erilyn? I'm a Kosei! I'm Kosei!
Erilyn looks at him as if seeing him for the first time. She puts on a gentle smile, her regal air returning.
Oh, I see. Do we know each other?
We go to school together.
Her face is still blank.
I'm in your class!
Oh,
After her little exclamation, she gets up and walks away. We both watch in silence as she exits. Once Erilyn is out of view, Kosei flops onto his back on the floor.
She didn't even get to the point of rejecting me.
Well, at least your expectations are in line. He clutches at his chest.
That comment would have hurt if I wasn't already dead. Wait, I think this is still a dream. This entire scenario doesn't seem remotely possible.
He pulls his hand back and slaps himself across the face. Seriously, dude? With no change in result, he flops down again. Yeah, get up. Come on, it's not a big deal. Get up, man.
I can't.
Just use your hands to push yourself up. It's easy. Kosei just flops out about listlessly. I sigh deeply.
What have I done to deserve such cruelty? How can I be so unmemorable?
I'm pretty confident that you're not the problem in this case. But my words fall on deaf ears as Kosei lets out another long groan. Footsteps echo in the hallway, which is immediately followed by a breathless Mina. She pops her head into the doorway.
Are you okay, cuz? I heard a thud, and then a loud...
She pauses when she sees Kosei on the floor. Straightening back up, the concern melts off her face.
Oh, it's just Kosei.
Just as quickly, she turns away. Well, that was record timing. Maybe the hilarity of the situation will pull Kosei out of his mood. Hey, Kosei. He continues to stare at the ceiling.
Yeah.
You seem to be pretty proficient at repelling women today.
Ree!
Kosei finally sits up. His face is grave as he turns to his feet.
I need to go home, man.
Why? What's wrong? Kosei shakes his head.
I need to do some introspection or something and reevaluate my life.
We could just keep gaming. He shakes his head again.
No, not even video games can fix this. I'll see you later.
Kosei shuffles out of the room. I follow him to the front door and send him off, trying my best to encourage him. He'll be fine. I'm sure of it. Well, pretty sure of it. Anyway, with Kosei having a 10th life crisis and Mina at work, I have some free time. Who should I hang out with? Oh, yeah, I should probably help Erlen do her thing. I did tell Erlen that I'd help her with her homework. Now that I have some free time, I should take care of that. I make my way back to Erlen's room and knock on the door.
Come in.
I open the door and see Erlen seated on the bed. Hey, are you free? I can help you with your homework now.
Finally. I thought you'd forgotten.
I take a look around. Where are your books? Erlen goes over to her desk and pulls the workbooks out of a drawer. She sets them all on top of the desk in a big pile. Which of these do you want to start with?
You're the expert. You choose.
I go through the different subjects, trying to remember their due dates. Okay, the only assignment due Monday is math. Let's do that one first. I grab my math book so we can work on it together. Erlen seems chipper as she gets situated at her desk.
What are we covering now? Mobius transformations? Diophantine equations? Transcendental number theory?
We're only first years, so you're taking algebra.
Oh, so we'll probably be covering Hilbert's Nullstellensatz or Datakine domains then?
What kind of crazy algebra do they teach in her world? This is more like intermediate algebra. Here, let me walk you through some of the problems. I open the workbooks to the first page and hold it out for her to see. She looks completely bewildered. Okay, so I know it looks complicated, but if you go through it step by step, it's not so bad.
I don't understand this at all.
The idea is to figure out what x is, so you start by...
No, I understand that. X is -9, obviously.
Huh? Is it? Erlen continues talking while I quickly solve the problem.
The equation simplifies to -20 minus 9x equals 16 minus 5x. From there, you can see that -4x equals 36, which makes x equal -9.
I finished the problem not long after Erlen finishes her explanation. She's correct. Despite how easily the answer came to her, she still looks confused. I thought you said you didn't understand this at all.
I don't. What is the point of this exercise? What is the problem we are meant to solve?
That was the problem. The point was to figure out what x was. Erlen's eyes widen in realization.
This is what people our age are meant to be learning in Japan? This is elementary material.
Erlen takes the workbook out of my hands, regarding it with pity and fascination.
No wonder your society is so underdeveloped compared to Velden.
Let her think what she wants to think. Defend the wonders of Japanese society. Take her down a peg. Gosh, I don't care about any of those answers. None of those answers are things that I care about. Well, let her think what she wants to think. I don't care. The superiority of Velden seems to be important to Erlen. I doubt anything I say would change her mind. If the homework is so simple, why did you ask me for help in the first place?
Obviously, I didn't know just how simple the assignment was.
How? Didn't you look in the book? Erlen tilts her head and stares blankly. I sigh and press my palm to my forehead. You didn't even open the book, did you?
Of course not. Why would I?
Did you not have homework in Velden?
I did, but it wasn't so standard.
What does that mean?
My tutors individualized my lessons and assignments. I didn't have a workbook like this.
So they'd give you handouts or something after each lesson?
Essentially, yes. Although it was all digital. I do miss that about Velden. You all still seem to rely on more antiquated methods, and it takes a bit of adjustment.
You know, you mentioned Velden a lot, but you haven't told me any real details. What's it like? Erlen's eyes light up. She gets a happy, nostalgic smile on her face.
It's a beautiful country. We've made efforts to preserve nature, and our countryside is full of rolling green hills as far as the eye can see. Our towns and cities are bustling with businesses. Velden's economy has grown stronger each year, and it's due to the strong relationships and trade agreements with our neighboring countries. And of course, Velden is the leader in the advancement of new technology. Our university programs attract people from all nations.
She sighs.
I miss being home, surrounded by my comforts, and the palace gardens. I used to sit by the dancing fountains whenever I wanted to clear my mind.
Sounds like paradise. This seems suspiciously like propaganda. Being a royalty of anywhere must make it great. Sounds like paradise. That does sound pretty amazing. Erlen smiles and nods happily, pleased by my response.
It is.
I wish I could visit. Erlen looks thoughtful.
Maybe one day I'll be able to show you the wonders of Velden.
I'll save right here. And why don't we stop it there for today? This is audap. Ew. Sometimes I just wish there was like one button to go to the title screen. So many other games do that. I don't know why this one doesn't. Anyway, this is audap. You're watching Ethereal Enigma on Nintendo Switch. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.